no more things I used to do. I don't do no more, for the Lord's made a change in me.
Hello, this is Real History with Melissa, and today is Thursday, October 9, 2025, and I am joined by Neil Foster. Hello, Neil.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Well, as I explained to you, I'm fine. I've had a couple of months of it, but anyway.
All right, so you've had a lot of challenges, but we're here, we're in the ring now.
Yeah. Well, while we
Okay.
still can, while we still can.
Yes,
Yeah. I guess that's where we'll
that's
start.
I think that's a good place to start. We're here while we can.
Yeah. I did hear you mention on one of yours. I'm kind of a bit behind because I only listen to the stuff in the car. But so when I'm driving, I'm listening to stuff and catching up. But you were talking about, that's the line you're not going to cross. You're not going to get digital ID, and neither am I.
No.
And it's definitely going to bring challenges. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, part of that is a story we'll come on to later about Sam's Club, and we mentioned this before that all this thing about the queues at the checkouts and all this was just going to bring about no checkouts at all, and that's where they're going. But we'll come on to that later. The petition in Britain, I'm sure.
Yes.
You've heard of it. I think even the New York Times reported something on it, or the what's the other one? Post. But every time I ring the New York Post up, they want money, so I don't see that one. At the moment, it's just ticked up there. The petition in Britain has now reached 2,821,866 signatures. And the first line, this is the official government website, petition.parliament.uk/petitions/70194. Now, if there's anybody from the UK listening, in the United States, you can still sign this because I have done. So I would encourage you to. Not that it's going to make any difference, that's what I'm about to hear, but it's worth putting your moniker on it. The first line on this thing is do not introduce digital ID cards. That's the name of the petition. We demand the UK government immediately commits to not introducing a digital ID cards. They could have written that better. There are reports that this is being looked at. I don't know what that means. But this is the details of it. Parliament will consider this for the debate. Parliament considers all petitions that get more than 100,000 signatures for a debate. Considers, right? That means they don't have to do it.
Right.
And it says waiting for 14 days for a debate day. So I guess when it gets to 100,000 signatures, they've got 14 days to set a date for that debate. But the government response was given on the 2nd of October, 2025. We will introduce a digital ID within this Parliament to help tackle illegal migration, make accessing government services easier, and enable wider efficiencies. We will consult on details soon. In other words, they're just going to ignore it. The full response it's pretty long. Can't read all that, but there's a longer response anyway. But this is just a part of it. By the end of this Parliament, employers will have to check the new digital ID when conducting a right to work check. Now, there's already laws in place for this. They don't need a digital ID for that. It's actually illegal, as it is in the US, but that seems to be ignored, to employ somebody who isn't either a citizen or a permanent resident of the country. That's illegal. So why do they need a digital ID for it? Like we've talked about before, why don't they go after the employers of all these illegal immigrants that are working at the factories and on the farms and stuff? But no, that's too easy, right? This will help combat criminal gangs who promise access to the UK labour market in order to profit from dangerous and illegal channel crossings. Well, the illegal channel crossings are a drop in the, if you pardon the pun, a drop in the ocean of the numbers that are coming in on aircraft.
Yes. Yes.
It will create a fairer system between UK citizens and legal residents, crack down on forged documents, and streamline the process for employers, driving up compliance. Compliance. Do it or else.
Yeah.
It will create business information showing where employers are conducting checks. So, what does it matter? So, driving more targeted action against non-compliant employers. For clarity, it will not be a criminal offence to not hold a digital ID yet, and police will not be able to demand to see a digital ID as part of a stop and search yet.
Yes.
They can take their phone off you. So, if they can take the phone off you, then they can demand it, can't they?
Uh-huh.
What's the password to your phone? Well, why aren't you letting me in my phone? You must have something to hide.
Exactly.
But privacy and security will also be central to the digital ID program. Now, they're basing this on Estonia, right? And there's other countries as well. I can't remember what they are that have already got a digital ID, but they've been hacked so many times,
Hmm.
and people's data has all been stolen. Their medical information, the bank information, everything has been stolen. And as I say, they're basing it on Estonia. I think the figure I heard for their population is 1.3 million.
Hmm.
Now there's 2.8 million signed a petition saying we don't want it in Britain, over twice the population of Estonia. But that don't matter, because Keir Starmer's going to do it, whether you like it or not. And they're not even going to have a debate, or they might just to appease people. They'll say they'll have a debate. There'll be like three people in there, one the right, one the left, and one who doesn't know what he is. I don't know, but I wonder how that works. If you're a so-called transgender, digital ID, it'll tell if you're male, female, whatever.
Because it says so.
Well, it's all okay. It must be right then. It says here all petitions run for 6 months. So this petition was only 6 months. So we're talking about that 9th of January 2026 it runs out. So there's still plenty of time. This could go well above 5 million, I think. If enough people hear about it, that's the thing. It's not going to be advertised, is it?
No, I wonder, do you have any idea have you investigated who's behind it, who put it out?
Hold on.
Because I haven't seen, I mean, I haven't
Oh,
really.
created by Maxim Sutcliffe. Maxim Sutcliffe is the name of the person who started an online petition in the UK opposing the introduction of digital IDs. As of late September 2025, the petition has gathered millions of signatures, well surpassing the 100,000 threshold required for Parliament to consider a debate on the issue. Key details. No, it doesn't give you anything about him. I suspect that's probably a fake name. Maxim is it's a maxim, right? It's a thing.
Well,
Uh,
I'm looking at that name. It says there was an Australian rules footballer that he passed away though in 2003. But there is a LinkedIn here for Max Sutcliffe, a finance graduate. No, that wouldn't be it. I mean, there's a few people.
well, of course, Peter Sutcliffe was a mass murderer in the UK. Um, and Max, as I say, Max, what's the proper definition of maxim?
Like a saying. I
Yeah.
can.
A short, pithy statement expressing a general truth or rule of conduct.
Mm-hmm.
The maxim that actions speak louder than words. So there's it's like there's a little bit of hidden meaning in it. I don't know. Anyway, that's just a side issue, I
Ah,
guess.
well, all right. That's it's impressive though how quickly it's growing.
Yeah, as I say, it's still got to go another, what, 3 months? 4 months?
Hmm.
No, 4 months. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But as I say, they'll have a debate amongst three people and the speaker guy, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
If anything. I mean, I was going to talk to you about this the last time. It's you kind of wonder why they make it so obvious that these people are just dictators now. Why are they making it so obvious? Why are they making it so obvious that there's a genocide going on? Why are they, why is it all so obvious? Is it to say, well, you can do nothing about it and we don't care if you know what we're doing?
Well, it really does seem to be that way, even at the beginning of COVID, that what do they say? The mask is off.
Hmm. Hold on. Depending what day of the week it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, everything's it's in your face obvious. And, you know, if you point out you're still a conspiracy theorist. And it's blatantly obvious what's going on. I mean, this guy Starmer, I think he only got 28% of the vote. I was speaking to my dad yesterday, and I said, well, less than 50% of the people voted in Britain. So if you truly live in a democracy, then we should have anarchy at this stage.
What did your
Because,
dad say, just out of curiosity?
well, he agreed.
Mm.
But I had to explain to him what anarchy was, of course, because he thought it was about black-clad lunatics running through the town. But, but he's getting fed up with it. There's trying to tax pensioners' savings and all sorts of stuff going on. It's just crazy. And they're talking about bail-ins over there now. And he's saying that they're looking for £3,000 from people's bank accounts.
Oh
I
my
said,
goodness.
Dad, go down to the bank, take your money out, keep it in the house. I'll
When
kind of look
when
at
did
that. I'll
this
kind of
when
look at
did
that as
this
well.
happen? I haven't heard about that. When did
Yeah, I
the
don't know. I didn't get any details off him, but
Yeah.
he kept mentioning it. And I was, well, I meant to look it up actually, but
Oh,
I
oh.
don't.
Well, yeah, we'll have to dig into that one.
Yeah,
That's
well,
scary.
I told him about the bail-ins. I says, you do know that when you put your money in the bank, it's not yours anymore. And he
Yeah.
says, no, yeah, he's nearly 90, so he's not. And well, something I did get off him yesterday. He was, I don't know how it came up, but he mentioned the COVID thing, and he actually admitted, says, since we ever got that first one, we've been sick ever since. And I think they've had five.
Wow.
And I says, Dad, I try to tell you. And he says, I know, son. But there you go.
Well, that's a shame. I mean, that's a shame.
Yeah. Well, he was playing golf twice a week and going out and singing in the pub and all that kind of thing, and just everything stopped.
Hmm.
And got a colostomy bag in the ring now because it's right after one of the shots.
Uh,
Something wrong with his liver and sorts of things. But anyway,
yeah, it's very sad. I just heard from someone yesterday with a major health event in the family, and all of the discussion is, how did this happen? How did this happen? And he said, well, I know how it happened, but they don't want to hear that.
no, no. Well, the powers that be don't want to hear anything, do they? So maybe we'll move on to Bill C8 in Canada.
Oh, mercy. This is a scary one, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's Canada's a test bed for a lot of things, isn't it? And they're getting to the front of it right now. This is from the Canadian Constitution Foundation. Bill C8 would allow ministers to secretly cut off phone internet service CCF wars. I guess Canadian Constitution Foundation. Okay. Toronto. The Canadian Constitution Foundation is concerned about the civil liberties implications of the Carney government's proposed cyber security bill C8, which would allow the Minister of Industry to secretly order telecommunications service providers like TELUS, Bell and Rogers to stop providing services to individual Canadians. Under cyber security, which I guess that's terrorism, right? So if you say something the government doesn't like, well, we'll just cut you off
Yeah,
because you're a
absolutely.
dangerous individual. Yeah. The minister would be allowed to make such an order if she has reasonable grounds to believe that it is necessary to do so to secure the Canadian telecommunications system against any threat, including that of interference, manipulation, disruption, or degradation. We'll define all of those words. What does degradation mean?
Yeah.
Does that mean somebody's saying wrong things and they're degrading the quality of information? Or
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
disruption? Oh,
yeah.
they're disrupting the actions of the government by pointing out that they're criminals.
Hmm.
Or manipulation? Well, that's you bring in hate speech and all that kind of thing, aren't you? That's almost like saying incitement. You're guilty of incitement by posting the truth about something.
You know, I don't use the different chats and ask them questions and then have them
No,
feedback. And I know a lot of people do, and
no, I don't.
but I do use the a browser that's supposed to be one of the safer, more private ones, but it's got its own built-in AI thing,
Mm.
and I am always trying to, turn it off, overrule it, get it out of there, but it comes up at the top of the search. and I don't use it, but I still can see it. You know what I mean? It's like,
It's the same on the other browsers. It's the first answer you get is the I version.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I noticed, because I'm always looking up things that, let's just say, would not be politically correct. Let's just say would have people thinking that I was anti-govern, anti-vax, anti-whatever. You don't even,
Immigration.
yeah. And what I noticed in, recently is that it tells me that whatever it was that I typed in, because I'm looking for images to illustrate a video, or I may be looking for an article, but I'm not putting in something that I assert to be true. I'm just putting in something that I want for an illustrating purpose. And it will tell me, for instance, there is absolutely no proof that any of the conspiracies around blah, blah, blah. For instance, the latest was the Manchester synagogue stabbings. And I put in some search words. I tried hoax and different things because for me, it's a curiosity of what are people saying? How do you find that? How is this being presented? And you have to really do a lot of digging to find people dissecting this, in ways that go against the mainstream. I'm constantly being reprimanded by the built-in AI.
Mhm. Well,
And what I'm saying is all that could come back to bite me in the tail.
retrospectively, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I'm
Well,
well aware of the
yeah.
risk.
Well, I mean, I remember I'll talk many times, but you get a little message saying, "Do you want to post this? Do you want to write this? Are you sure you want to
Yeah,
send this?"
yeah.
Yeah. I've seen them already. They pop up now and again. Um, I mean, this is you right here, right? An individual who does not comply, including by failing to keep the order secret. So I guess that's a telecommunications worker who's been told to switch you off. If they maybe they know you, right? Hey, Neil, I was told to cut you off. They could face fines of up to $25,000 for the first contravention and $50,000 for subsequent contraventions. Businesses could face fines of up to $10 million for the first
Good
contravention
grief.
and up to 15 million for subsequent contract. Well, there's how to shut down small business, or well, not just small business. I mean, any kind of right. The orders would remain secret indefinitely, with the minister required only to present an annual report to Parliament on the number of orders made and her opinion on their necessity, reasonableness, and utility. So they don't even tell you who they've done it to.
No. And
Just
indefinitely. I mean, they
yeah,
never have to tell you this.
no. Uh, well, I guess it's this under national security because we're all terrorists now. CCF counsel Josh DeHaas said that the power to cut off the internet or cell phone service of Canadians is a very serious power that requires very strong safeguards, which are presently lacking in the bill. Well, no intention of putting them in. While this power may be necessary in some cases to prevent cyber attacks, it also poses serious risks to civil liberties. Well, I wonder who's doing the cyber attacks on a cell phone, right? Or on, I just this cyber attack thing's been going on for how long? How long have been telling us? Klaus Schwab,
Yeah.
it'll make COVID look like a picnic. There'll be a major cyber attack. Well, I think it was Alan that mentioned it that all the power plants and everything are not on the public internet. They're not linked up to that for that very reason. Yeah, so this nonsense about a cyber attack on power plants is rubbish. Because how would you get into it? How would you even know where to look for it?
You can't.
No. It also poses serious risks to civil liberties, DeHaas said. I worry that this law could be used to secretly cut off political dissidents from their phone or internet service on the pretense that they may try to manipulate the telecom system. DeHaas explained such an action would violate our most cherished freedoms, including free speech. Well, that's already gone. What's he talking about? And this is one of the good guys. apparently. CCF litigation director Christine Van Gain said that the government cannot be trusted with such a power, really, unless proper safeguards are in place. Well, I wouldn't trust them with the safeguards in place either. The bill shouldn't exist. It's as simple as that. Never mind safeguards. There should be no such thing as this. We can talk about something here, and later on we'll probably get an ad about it, right, on our phone or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we mentioned it, and they're trying to tell you they can't find these people, these cyber hackers or whatever they're called. They tell us they can't find them. It's rubbish. They could stop all of this stuff if they wanted to. If somebody can hack into something, then somebody else can put a safeguard in place, right?
No, I mean, this is the thing. Look, they try to make it all sound super complicated, like they don't know. We've seen it with all of the child pornography that they can't. Oh, we just don't know, and that's rubbish.
Well, what about Unit 8200?
Yeah,
What about the one in the UK? I can't remember what
yeah.
it's called now. They're doing cyber attacks on
The
people.
77 Brigade.
Yeah, somebody said they're doing it on the
Yeah,
public. What about them?
yeah.
Uh,
And there's equivalents in the States, but it's and
yeah,
Canada too. I don't that came out during COVID. I don't remember now what that unit's called, but no, that
yeah.
because that's authorized.
Yeah. Well, let's go on. You may think that the idea of government cutting off political dissidents from the necessities of life sounds far-fetched, but that's exactly what happened during the 2022 Freedom Convoy process in Ottawa. I guess that was a test, right? The federal government ordered banks to freeze hundreds of bank accounts without any judicial authorization, cutting protesters off from their money in the middle of a very cold winter. Although the federal court agreed with the CCF that freezing bank accounts this way violated the constitutional right to be secure against unreasonable searches and seizures, that kind of damage isn't easily repaired. Ottawa has appealed the federal court's finding. The CCF is awaiting a decision from the Federal Court of Appeal. Well, that'll go nowhere. It's I, the thing is, if they cut off somebody, right? If they say they cut you and I off, how can we tell
Mhm.
anybody?
Yeah,
How,
exactly. Yeah.
I thought you died. Oh no, I was just cut off with the Canadian internet thing. The old C8 cut me off because I said I didn't like somebody. I apparently committed a hate crime, allegedly. I thought you were dead. I mean, the people, and unfortunately, people are using this to communicate, like myself, with family abroad. That's the only way I can do it. I could write them a letter, but it'd have to be reams and reams and reams of pages. And you wait and then wait for a reply. But yeah, I mean, people. Can you? I can imagine a lot of young people uh, saying stuff online or doing stuff online and suddenly being cut off, and it will be like losing their hand. They're so addicted to it, they're going to go insane.
I
Just might
was
be wrong.
listening to a Canadian attorney, and I'm sorry I don't remember his name at the moment, but he was breaking this down, and he said the language of the bill is such that there's absolutely no indication of what you've done to deserve to be cut off. Nobody ever has to tell you. It's simply that Orwellian. They just don't have to say. So let's say, for instance, you're on one of the big telecoms. I'll just say TELUS, and one day, and you've got your phone and your internet there, and your service is cut off, and you're going through all of the possible things. So you call the company, and you say, "What's wrong?" And it can be so vague that they don't even have to tell you that they've cut you off. They don't have to address it. They can just say service has been denied. And then once you've gone through this shock and hassle, then you call up another provider and they can deny you on the spot because they've had this order that never has to be revealed, indefinitely kept secret, and you cannot get covered and you'll
Well,
never be told why.
yeah, and I mean, any private business has the right to refuse service to anybody, but we're seeing in the US that if you deny service to Israeli companies, then you're charged with a crime. So how is this not a crime?
Hmm.
You know, it's just arbitrary. This is anybody they want. I mean, this maybe we'll move on to this. Scottish police arrest serial speaker, a serial speaker, right? Elderly woman charged after holding sign offering to discuss abortion. Now, if she was Canadian and she was doing this online, she'd probably, what was it, be cut off because it's disruptive, right?
Mm.
It's causing offence. It's as I'll just read the first paragraph. Rose Docherty is what they call a criminal recidivist in the United Kingdom. The 75-year-old woman has been arrested for a second time for the same fiendish act, offering to speak to women considering an abortion. She was arrested outside. Isn't that what doctors are supposed to do?
Yeah.
So, so they should go out and arrest every doctor that discusses the benefits and the pros and cons of having an abortion or not. She was arrested outside the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital in Glasgow for carrying a placard. Here we are with placards again. She's not even speaking, right? Coercion is a crime. Here to talk only if you want. She's referred to, of course, you go to Planned Parenthood, and they say, yeah, we'll provide you with abortion with warrant wraps. Well, no problem. Uh, you don't want to be having a baby. It costs money. You've got a stretch mark or two. My God, how you ever live again? How you'll never have a bikini on again. Fortunately, she and her sign were quickly seized by the local police to protect the public. From what?
Ah,
From what?
yeah.
And this was just September 29th this year. Free speech literally does not have a prayer in the United Kingdom. You can't even pray either in your head in the United Kingdom. You get arrested. These abortion clinics have got I can't remember what to call it. It's like a specific area you can't go into and pray in your head. A no free speech zone, I guess. We previously discussed the case of Isabel Vaughan Spruce, who was arrested for, oh, here it is, here, who was arrested for standing near an abortion clinic while silently praying. Police asked what she was doing standing at the location, and when she said that she was praying overhead, they arrested her.
Yes. Yeah.
How Docherty ended up in the Hooskow, I guess that's a slang name for prison, is a chilling tale of how censorship can consume a nation. Here it is, here. The Abortion Services Safe Access Zones Act. That means it's the safe access zone is for anybody who's got themselves pregnant by whatever means, who doesn't want any of that nonsense going on. Somebody might try and talk them out of it. Can't have that. So they're given a safe corridor, as it were, to come and go from the abortion clinic without getting any pesky people trying to interfere with the decision. It came into force last September. The architect, there's another word, of the law, Scottish Green
Hmm.
MSP Gillian Mackay, denounced protests of abortions as totally unacceptable abuse and obstruction outside hospitals. It's totally unacceptable abuse for trying to have a conversation with the woman regarding whether or not she wants to have an abortion or not. I mean, say the woman's walking in there and she is on the fence kind of thing, 50-50. And she just needs somebody to talk to. Well, the first person she's going to talk to is abortionists. So it's now a crime to behave in ways that could influence the decisions of women and staff to access services within the buffer zones. Uh, well,
This is amazing because even there, what denounce the protests of abortion, they're folding that in with, just standing silently with a placard and praying in your head. That's
well,
not even a,
she didn't even have a placard, that lady.
yeah, but even if she did, they're not
Yeah.
approaching the person in the so-called safe
No.
zone. They're just
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's up to them. It'd be the person's own choice to go and talk to them.
If someone who is going to a clinic to get an abortion is so unstable that they can't have a conversation about it without what does it say here? Being faced with I can't
Totally
find the word.
unacceptable abuse or
Yeah,
obstruction.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if they can't handle that, then it's possible that you could consider that person unstable enough not to be having an abortion.
Yeah, because I mean, if somebody's set in their mind that they're definitely going to have an abortion, even if the person spoke to them and said, you know, maybe you want to reconsider, they say, no, I've made my mind up, that's it, and
Yeah.
just keep walking. You know, and now if you're unsure, you're going to stop and say, what do you mean? You know, or something, and kind of initiate a conversation yourself because you are unsure. You know, and you just go to Planned Parenthood for, in inverted commas, advice. Well, the only advice you're going to get is to have the abortion. That's it, because that's their business. It's a
Yeah.
business. You know,
Yeah.
they're not there to save babies. You
No,
know,
yeah.
those and we've discussed what happens with those aborted fetuses as well in previous
Yeah.
recordings. There's big money in it.
Yeah, the whole euphemism of family planning is they're planning that you're not having a family.
Yeah, and they're planning to sell the organs of that
That's right.
fetus to big pharma companies and other people.
And face cream.
Yeah, yeah, stuff like that. But we'll just finish with this one. In other words, it's a crime to exercise free speech. In this case, the unacceptable abuse was offering to speak with other women about abortion. The United Kingdom shows how limiting speech can create an insatiable appetite for greater and greater speech controls. I discuss the UK as a cautionary tale for the United States in my book, blah, 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 The Indispensable Right. A man was convicted for sending a tweet while drunk referring to dead soldiers. Another was arrested for an anti-police t-shirt. Another was arrested for calling the Irish boyfriend of his ex-girlfriend a leprechaun. I mentioned on the last recording that a man had been arrested for calling somebody a muppet. Now, in Scotland, if you call somebody a muppet, it could be your friend, right? It's just done in a kind of, you just do something stupid. You know, you act like a muppet. And I said in that recording, it's an insult to muppets. But this woman took offence. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
yet another was arrested for singing Kung Fu Fighting. A teenager, well, that's still played on the radio. A teenager was arrested for protesting outside of a Scientology centre with a sign calling the religion a cult. Well, it is. British censorship now extends to not just silent prayers, but toxic thoughts. Last year, Nicholas Brock, 52, was convicted of a thought crime in Maidenhead, Berkshire. The neo-Nazi was given a 4-year sentence for what the court called his toxic ideology based on the contents of the home he shared with his mother in Maidenhead, Berkshire. While most of us find Brock's views repellent and hateful, they were confined to his head and his room. It doesn't matter whether we're in his head or his room. He's entitled to say what he wants anywhere, and people will take him to task for it or whatever, or agree with him. Yeah, whatever. But he's every right to say what he wants. That's what free speech is, right?
Right?
We can all be offended, but so what? So what? It's up to you to get offended. You
Yeah.
know, if somebody says something to me, calls me a muppet, I'll just laugh it off and keep walking. I'm like, but I don't care. Was it the old adage, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me?
Hmm.
Well, that still applies. We were taught that as a child at school to stop you getting into fights with people for calling you a muppet or something. You know, when there's fighting in the school playground. Oh, he called me this, he called me that. Well, so what? Yet Judge Peter Lauder, QC, dismissed free speech or free thought concerns with a truly Orwellian statement. I do not sentence you for your political views, but the extremity of those views informs the assessment of dangerousness. Where did they get that one? Where did they draw that one out from?
Uh,
Lauder lambasted Brock for holding Nazi and other hateful values. It is clear that you are a right-wing extremist. Your enthusiasm for this repulsive and toxic ideology is demonstrated by the graphic and racist iconography which you have studied and appear to share with others. Appear. Well, they said earlier it was only in his room and in his head.
yeah.
Even though Lauder agreed that the defendant was older, had limited mobility, and there was no evidence of disseminating to others, well, there you go, they just contradicted themselves,
Hmm.
he still sent him to prison for holding extremist views. Now, what's an extremist view? Well, we're apparently extremists for putting out so-called conspiracy theories which happen to be true. So we're extremists. Yeah. After the sentencing, Detective Chief Superintendent Kath Barnes, a detective, right? I wonder how they knew this stuff was in his head and in his house.
They detected it.
Well, how? How?
That would be really interesting. On what grounds did they enter the home? Because I just clicked on that link that's embedded here, and it shows, oh my goodness, it's a neo-Nazi shrine. There's, some kind of gun and a bunch of knives and some soldiers. And, it's not the kind of stuff I'd want on my wall. But hey, it
Well,
says here there's SS memorabilia, a Ku Klux Klan recognition certificate, a swastika.
people sell that stuff at markets as war memorabilia, and people collect it. Even if they're not into that ideology, they
Here's
still
the
collect it as war memorabilia.
now it's still not telling me how it entered his home, but it said police charged him with 3 counts of possession of material likely to be useful to a person committing or preparing a terrorist act. So you're
Likely.
right, something that you could buy at a market, an open air market, and collect is now he's being charged with that. This is
Well,
amazing.
well, those the people that sell that will be charged next, won't they, for disseminating war memorabilia to others. After the sentencing, anyway, Detective Chief Superintendent Kath Barnes, head of counter-terrorism policing Southeast, warned others that he was going to prison because he showed a clear right-wing ideology with the evidence seized from his possessions during the investigation. We are committed to tackling all forms of toxic ideology which has the potential to threaten public safety and security. What, like freedom?
Oh, this is right out of 1984.
Mhm.
This is a thought crime. This is a memorabilia crime.
Yeah, you better be careful what you collect.
Yeah.
The idea of well, if you're collecting money in your house, that's a toxic ideology. It's called saving. The idea of cracking down on toxic ideologies is, of course, nothing new in countries like China and Iran, or now Canada. However, the anti-free speech movement in Europe has succeeded in destroying the foundations for free speech in the West. The European Union is now one of the most hostile anti-free speech organisations in the world. And aren't we told that the European Union was, well, the vast majority of it was fighting in the Second World War for free speech and democracy, right? Uh, and now both sides of those conflicts, the Second World War, the First World War, are all in it together, as it were, denying free speech. As the anti-free speech movement grows in this country, what did I read that? The anti-free speech movement. Okay. Citizens need to look at Europe for where this path would take us. Americans are appearing before the EU and speaking at European conferences. Well, good luck with that. In support of such measures, anti-free speech views and books are all the rage in academia. It is a dangerous conceit to believe that what has occurred in Europe cannot occur here. Just ask Rose Docherty. Well, as we mentioned with the Canadian thing, it is happening. And maybe that's a good segue into academia with this one.
Yeah.
This is from Associated Press, so you can believe every word of this. Trump asks 9 colleagues, probably colleagues as well, colleges, to commit to his political agenda and get favourable access to federal money. So, no, Trump bribes 9 colleges to commit to his political agenda by giving them money. That's what he's doing. He's bribing them. Agree with me and I'll send you some cash. This was October 2nd this year. The White House is asking 9 major universities to commit to President Donald Trump's political priorities in exchange for more favourable access to federal money. Well, the government shut down, so they ain't getting nothing, are they? A document sent to the universities encourages them to adopt the White House's vision for America's campuses, with commitments to accept the government's priorities on admissions, women's sports, free speech, student discipline, and college affordability, among other topics. Signing on would give universities multiple positive benefits, including substantial and meaningful federal grants and increased overhead payments where feasible. In other words, have been subsidised, according to a letter sent to universities alongside the compact. What that means. The letter calls it a proactive effort as the administration continues to investigate alleged civil rights violations at US campuses. That'll be these people standing up for anti-genocide.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It called Compact for Academic Excellence in Higher Education. It asks universities to accept the government's definition of gender and apply it to campus bathrooms, locker rooms, and women's sports teams. Well, when the other side gets in, they'll just reverse all that, won't they? And say,
Mm-hmm.
we'll give you money if you accept our version of gender. It asks colleges to stop considering race, gender, and a wide range of student demographics in the admissions process and to require undergraduate applicants to take the SAT or ACT. Well, of course, nobody's going to disagree with that, are they? That should be
Mm-hmm.
based on your ability and nothing else. But that's the way it should always have been. The 10-page proposed agreement was sent Wednesday to some of the most selective public and private universities, Vanderbilt, University of Pennsylvania, blah, 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 blah. University of Texas in here too. It was not clear how these schools were selected or why. I'm sure there's a reason for it. They didn't agree with them on things. That's why they were sent it. The 9 universities could become initial signatories and are being invited to provide feedback before the language is finalised according to the letter. It asks for a decision by November 21st. I think the feedback they're going to get is, how much money are you going to send us?
Yeah.
That'll be the first question. So yeah, just bribing universities to push a political agenda. I would have thought that's illegal.
It reminds me of, do you remember when Prince Andrews was busted and his ex-wife Fergie for basically taking money so that people could access him?
Oh yeah, cash for questions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's almost like that kind of a thing.
£50,000 or something it was, a fine,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that, something
yeah.
crazy.
It's even really what you've got with the whole Hunter Biden thing,
Mhm.
not the whole thing. There was a lot going on with him,
Mhm.
but some of the charges were that he'd give these, foreigners access
Mhm.
to his father and policy.
Yeah. Well, that was a lot to do with Ukraine, wasn't it? There was
Yes, yes,
the
yeah.
Ukrainians were
Hmm.
getting into Biden to get some money out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But honestly, look, even the small universities, I've had some conversations about the higher education institution here in this town, and it is so well funded. It is so incredibly well funded. They don't even have to bother with tuition. They certainly don't have to do any fundraising. And
Well, again, well, why are students in so much debt?
yes,
You know, this he's saying he's going to send them money if they agree with their agenda. Why don't he send them money so the students don't have to borrow any?
yeah.
Wouldn't that be a
I,
better thing to do?
Though there's a similarity in my mind between the whole scammy, corrupt health insurance system in the U.S. and
Hmm.
higher education. These universities are so incredibly well endowed by, billionaire philanthropists who want it to spin the things that are taught there in a certain direction. You can see it with Pritzker. The Pritzkers have endowed,
Hmm.
and they've got higher education institutions preaching the gospel of, trans ideology.
Hmm.
This goes way back. If you look at foundations or power and influence, this is what endowment is all about. So these institutions, down to even smaller ones, are so incredibly well endowed. They don't need any money from the government. And if you look at their books, they don't even need tuition.
No.
So they are raking in money. Most of these places don't have money troubles forever, you know, into the
You
foreseeable
never hear of
future.
them going back. Yeah, you never hear of them going bankrupt. Yeah.
No, no. So it should be same thing with health. It should be some that they provide a service that people can afford to pay, and they have to compete. We offer you this, this, and this, And then students will say, okay, and families will say, well, this is worth saving for. It should cost about, 10% of what it does at most institutions to get an education. And there should be absolutely no government funding of these institutions
or
or
involvement in any way
involvement,
whatsoever.
period.
They should be allowed to teach what they want. And
Yeah.
when the parents go to that college with little Johnny, and they say, okay, let me see your curriculum. Oh, they're teaching transgenderism. No, I'm not going there. He's not going in there. He's going to one that actually teaches that there's only two genders. Well, parents can make up their mind.
Yeah.
And they would have to compete.
Yeah, if hospitals and doctors' private practices and universities all had to compete based on what they were offering, the kind of service they delivered, the quality, the results, it would be a whole different landscape.
Well, isn't that why they've shut down the government? Because they can't agree on some medical thing?
It's the Affordable Care Act. They're subsidizing that.
Well, they never define what affordable means. It's like you've got affordable housing, and I look at some of this affordable housing in Britain. It's £200,000. That's not affordable. It's affordable to some people, but it's not affordable to everybody.
Yeah.
The medical stuff. They've shut down the government because they can't agree on cutting the price of medicine or something.
Well,
apparently Pfizer. Apparently, Pfizer's been given a big contract, of course, and they're going to agree to cut the price of medications in the US, but they're going to put them up a little bit in Europe to pay for it, and they're getting a big investment from the government to do that. Oh, there's a big payoff for you, Albert. Bring out your personalised medicine now with what's his name, Ellison.
Mm-hmm.
All those creeps.
Yep.
But maybe that's a segue into Palantir. I don't know.
Okay.
Because they're involved in the health service, of course, in Britain. They've taken it over.
Yes.
But I don't have that one. It's more about the weaponry. What is it?
It's UK Palantir to transform lethality and accelerate kill chain.
Yeah, there was another one, but I don't have it up yet. Anyway, well, there's a lot of YouTube on their weapons and stuff. It's from Ice Age Farmer.
Yes.
I've not got the end. No, I thought there was an article. I don't have it here, so that's just a video there. We should have some supermarket music on when we do this.
Yeah.
Jingle away in the background, and people could. Oh God, turn it off. Hold on, I'll find it. I'll just mention this one. There's a pub in the UK changed its name to the George Orwell in a bid to get people talking about digital ID cards.
That's good. I like that.
Here it is. UK government this is on the official government website again. New strategic partnership to unlock billions and boost military AI and innovation. The UK will be at the leading edge of defence innovation as the government signs a new partnership with Palantir to unlock billions in investment and deliver on the government's plan for change. Now, Palantir could put billions into the health service or something, but no, they're going to be putting it into weapons to kill people. I wonder when the British Department of Defence will be called the Department of War, because that's what this is about. It's got nothing to do with defence. New strategic partnership with Palantir to unlock up to 1.5 billion investment. Well, that's peanuts to them. That's not a lot of money in today's terms, is it? I mean, what'd you get for that? 10 fighter jets or something? Not even that, maybe. I don't know. One ship into the UK to deliver new jobs, growth and national security. Now, Palantir announced its plans to make the UK its European HQ for defence and create up to 350 jobs. That's it. But they're new high-skilled jobs, so that's okay. Cementing the UK as a state-of-the-art defence technology hub. The UK wanted to be the what was it? The something to do with medical anyway. The new state-of-the-art medical hub as well. So they like this idea of Britain being a hub for everything. Palantir and UK military to develop AI-powered capabilities already tested in Ukraine. So there you go. They were testing it all out in Ukraine and denied it all along, right? To speed up decision-making, military planning and targeting. They've already got it in Gaza. They've had it there for a long time. It will see Palantir invest up to 1.5 billion to help make the UK a defence innovation leader and create up to 350 new jobs, making defence an engine for growth. 350 jobs. That's some growth, that, isn't it?
Yeah, staggering.
There's about 3 million unemployed, or more, probably more. I remember that figure of 3 million unemployed came out in Thatcher's time, and they manipulated the figures so much, put people onto job creation schemes and all this kind of government nonsense. There was actually 6.5 million unemployed at that time.
Wow.
The new and the at the same time they split up jobs. And they've done it here. They split up a full-time job and put 2 or 3 part-timers in it, and they call that a growth in employment.
Mm-hmm.
3 people doing 1 job.
It's also too, when they split it up, 3 people doing 1 job, it means that none of those 3 people are now getting any of the so-called benefits.
No, 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 and they're not getting the hours either.
No.
They're not getting. I hear it in Walmart all the time. The checkout people. We'll come on to that next. So I guess that's a good segue. But they're always complaining to get their hours cut. They get their hours cut. Every time I go on, I'm hearing them talking about it. Oh, I know. Well, why work here? Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It will see Palantir invest up to 1.5 billion. I keep repeating this. I wonder how much the government's putting in. They don't tell you that here. They're just saying it's Palantir putting in, will invest. That means somebody else is involved. They're investing it in something.
Yeah.
So somebody else is involved in this. So the government must be putting money into this as well. Oh, sorry, the taxpayer. The new partnership signed today, 18 September, by Defence Secretary John Healey. Again, we'll have to change that to War Secretary. Will help the UK military develop the latest digital tools and harness AI technology to accelerate decision making, improve targeting, and keep the British people safe from evolving threats. Oh, I feel safer already. Palantir has also announced plans for London to become the base for Palantir's European defence business, establishing Britain as a hub for defence technology innovation across Europe. So there you go. We can all feel really great about it. And they're going to work with NATO. The partnership will identify opportunities with UK defence, which could be worth up to 750 million over the next 5 years, showing that the UK is in a strong position to be a digital data and AI world leader. Fantastic. So yeah, there you go. Palantir has already got 1,000 people in the UK, and they're committed to hiring up to, it's always up to, isn't it? They can't tell you how many people. Up to 200. That could be anything from 0 to 200, right? And up to 150 jobs in the broader UK defence technology sector. There you go. Up to. Right, so that's that. Weapons for war. And as I say, that video, UK Palantir to transform lethality and accelerate the kill chain. Doesn't that sound nice?
It certainly does, yeah.
It's like they're talking about shooting rabbits. That's what it's like, or going down the fair or the circus and shooting ducks as they go by. It's just the way they talk about human life. They don't see people as humans, do they? They just see them as targets. And as a brief segue into the Manchester thing you mentioned there, of course, the only people that were shot were people who were in the building trying to keep the person out that was doing the stabbing. The police actually shot 2 people and injured a few more, apparently. But these guys are supposed to be trained marksmen, yet they couldn't shoot the guy at the door. They shot 2 people behind them. How does that work?
They did shoot him too, though, right?
Yeah, they did eventually.
But not
they
until
shot the other guys first.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Were they planning to use that as a oh look, he shot people as well? And then they came out, oh, well, the guy didn't have a gun. We can't say that. Who knows? But look, if you did you see the video of it? The little video?
I didn't. No. Yeah.
Well, the police are screaming, get back, and everybody's just standing by watching on. There's 2 obviously Jewish guys walking past the fence. They've got their kippahs on, so how you identify them. And they're walking past, and the person's supposedly stabbed lying on the ground. They're just walking by, looking at them casually as if it's a piece of litter. They're not running or anything. And somebody shouts, "He's got a bomb! He's got a bomb!" Now, if somebody shouts that he's got a bomb, he's got a bomb, I ain't going to stand there with my cell phone taking pictures of it. I'm going to be out of there, or at least on the ground behind the wall. I wouldn't be standing there looking at it. It's, I don't know. We could dissect these things all different ways, but you'll never get the truth anyway.
No, it's very weird. The footage, I mean, I did see the one photo of him lying there, and you just have to question. You have to question and move on. That's my
Yeah,
strategy.
yeah, yeah. Same as the Charlie Kirk thing.
Yeah, it's just
Like I say, why are they making things so obvious? I don't know. So, but okay, we'll come to the Costco one next.
okay.
The Sam's Club one next. After this, just a brief one for anybody who wants to be an actor out there. You're wasting your time. This is from France 24. Hollywood Performers Union slam debut of AI-generated actress Tilly Norwood. The debut of an AI-generated actress named Tilly Norwood drew sharp condemnation on Tuesday from the SAG-AFTRA Actors Union, which warned against replacing human performers with synthetics. Producers touted interest from studio executives after unveiling Norwood at the Zurich Film Industry Conference. So going back to what we mentioned a few times in the past, you can't believe anything you see.
Right. Yeah.
AI-generated actresses, well, AI-generated news reports, right?
Yeah.
Wait, how are we supposed to know?
Well, look at that other one that you sent me that ties right in here. Albania's prime minister appoints an AI-generated minister
Yeah,
to
I think
tackle. Do you got that
I
one
don't have
up?
that. I don't have that one up into. I think there's quite
Well,
a bit back in it.
yeah, this is I mean, this is almost a month ago, but it ties in with what you're saying. Albania's prime minister tapped an artificial intelligence generated, quote, minister, end quote, to tackle corruption and promote transparency and innovation in his new cabinet, officially named Diela, the female form of the word for sun in the Albanian language. The new AI minister is a virtual entity. Diela will be a member of the cabinet who is not present physically, but has been created virtually. The AI generated bot will help ensure that public tenders will be 100% free of corruption and will help the government work faster and with full transparency.
Well,
Now,
hold on. How can the AI generated minister not be free from corruption? It depends who programs it.
yeah, exactly.
Carry on.
So, well, it says, let's see. Diela uses AI's up-to-date models and techniques to guarantee accuracy in offering the duties it is charged with, according to Albania's National Agency for Information Society's website. Again, who's programming it. Diela, depicted as a figure in a traditional Albanian folk costume, was created earlier this year in cooperation with Microsoft. Okay, so we know it's good and it's above board.
Hmm.
As a virtual assistant on the e-Albania public service platform, where she has helped users navigate the site and get access to about 1 million digital inquiries and documents. But here's the thing, the tender it's a government contract. It's bidding on, let's say the government needs 100 new keypads for their computer. So the companies are bidding on that. So this Delia is going to what? Guide them to this and ensure there's no corruption.
Yeah. Well, if it's keypads, it'll grow right to Bill Gates' company. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it can't be corrupt. Bill Gates is involved. Come on. I mean, it's a step on the. It's always these out of the way countries that nobody ever hears of. Nobody
Hmm.
knows where they are.
Hmm.
Particularly in America.
I mean, this
Um,
is the thing, Neil, that I've been kind of harping on about for a while is that, people have made some kind of sport or theater out of trying to break down every single psyop that's going on. But they haven't gotten the news flash is that we're in a different era where you cannot trust your lying eyes because you've got banks. See, the 77th Brigade that we mentioned earlier is just one of probably a dozen things in the UK, and you'll have that or a dozen more in the US and country by country where they're going to have their information warfare department. So every branch of the military is going to have it. Every single intelligence agency, and I think we're up to what, 17 or 18 in the US, is going to have their own information warfare department. And that means they are generating, you just sent me something on that there. They're generating disinformation for warfare purposes. And we are the target. Speaking of targets, we are the target.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
all of this is aimed at us. You
Well,
get,
that's why they passed that the bill that I don't know if is it Thomas Massey who's trying to get it repealed. The one where the U.S. government is legally allowed to use propaganda against its own people. I can't remember what the bill's called,
no,
but
I don't remember that either, but
no,
yeah.
they'll never be repealed. No way.
No.
And they were doing it anyway. They just wanted to make it official. They've always done it. So I don't know why that. I guess too many people were cotton on to it, and so well, we were to bring out a law so we could do this legally.
Hmm.
Nobody can question us again.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's as you say, unless you actually see something physically with your own eyes, it's hard to know what's real and what's not.
Yeah, this is very, very insidious. But we're in a whole new landscape now.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, I think, if they do cut you off the internet and the phone, it might not be a bad thing. It's I'm kind of getting there thinking that way.
I think you're right. I often remember what Alan would say, if I wasn't using the computer for what I'm doing
Throw it
here,
out the
I'd,
window.
yep,
Yeah, yeah.
yep,
I think that's right. I
yeah.
mean, I would still use a computer, but not necessarily online. I'd use it for spreadsheets for the house and business and that kind of thing. Um, the problem with that is you need it for business now. They've made it so you can't really uh, do business without it. I have to use the phone to take like credit card payments, stuff like that, because you have to have an app on your phone to do it. You have to be online to do
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
I don't know how that would work at my seasonal driving job because I can get a phone from them. So maybe that's some way to do that, but I don't know.
I think all of these things as to what are we willing to put up with, how far are we going with it? I mean, these are really important questions.
Mhm.
There's no doubt about it because it's all
Well, I
coming
mean,
down.
that's why I try to save up cash because one day you never know. They could do it tomorrow. They could just cut off your bank account. You don't know.
They could, I mean, the unfortunate thing about cash is that, I mean, we saw this during COVID when dirty, dirty money passing
Mhm.
germs, and, there'll be any pretext for saying that, cash is what
Well,
not system
I've been
or
this.
digital
I've,
credits.
yeah.
So.
Well, I've been in the store a few times over the past 2 years, and the systems have gone down, and all the tellers are saying cash only. Yeah, it was they can take cash when they want to.
Well, I mean, hey, cash, use it while you can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. The thing that struck me about that is, yeah, we're using it as much as we can, but once it goes into the store puts it in the bank, they don't have to reissue it. That
I typically don't give advice, health, financial, or anything else, but I'm going to take a moment to give a piece of advice here
it's an
regarding
ad.
cash.
This is an ad break.
Yes, an ad break. With your cash, if you have it, a good thing to do with your cash whenever you have extra and you're not just hand to mouth is buy something useful.
Mhm.
Alan did that. I do that. Buy something useful because at a certain point, I do believe that the switch is going to be flipped. We won't be able to have cash. We'll be on this credit system. And if you've got your, I don't know, chainsaw or your, water supply or your,
Necessities for life.
pardon?
The necessities of life.
Yes, if you've bought necessities of life with your extra cash when you had it, You never can plan everything out. I'm not advising you to go and be a prepper. Dried beans don't last forever, but it's good to think about what you need to live when the lights go down, because they are
Well,
going down.
yeah, I got fans for the tent when I'm doing the markets,
Hmm.
and they're really good. I mean, they cost about $70 each, but they're pretty good. They've got lights on them. Um, and I got two, and then I thought, okay, I'll get another two because I was doing a lot of night markets, and then I'd have to come in and charge them up, and it's just a pain. So I got another two, and then I thought, right, they dropped to $50. I said, right, I'm going to get another two just for hurricanes,
Hmm.
right? But I did a test on them, so I put them on quarter power. So inside, I had them about 2 yards away, and I could still feel it, the cool air coming through. And I left that on, and it lasted 40 hours, and it still had something like 10% left. So, and then I thought, right, I'll do another test. I put it on half power, and that lasted for 28 hours. So that's kind of good to know.
That is good to know. I mean,
Yeah.
see, it depends on where you are, what you need, but there
Mhm.
are things, like generators or, gasoline or we don't, you don't, you'll know what you need.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I've got a gasoline generator. I'm thinking maybe early next year I might have to get a solar one.
I was reminded of this really because I was doing a little bit, I still have things of my mom and dad's here, and I have one of these, those day planners that they used
Hmm.
to, sell to businessmen and so forth. It's a nice little leather thing, and it's got the notebook. And I keep thinking, well, I don't use that. I should, give it to charity or whatever. But I was flipping through it again a couple of days ago, and it has all these inspirational things there for you to think about. And I saw one that was from Henry Ford, and he said, "Money is like an arm or leg. Use it or lose it." And I thought, see, that's what they will do to us. All of this is about transitioning us into fully into the fourth industrial revolution, and it's going to be credit based. And the things that we're talking about here with like Bill C8 and even the digital ID, this is all part of they modeled it in the Chinese social credit system. And so if you're saying something that isn't good or not acceptable, well, that's you off the internet and you lose access to things.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah, it's use it or lose it. I think, they'll take it away from us when they want to,
yeah.
but there are some things that you can do.
Yeah. Well, this is that the ad break over?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I read something the other day. I should have brought it up, but they're putting in these the cameras into our city here under the guise of traffic management.
Hmm.
But of course they're for the 15-minute city. But these are flock cameras. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're facial recognition, and they've got
Yes,
microphones
yes,
on them. They
yes.
can hear your conversation from quite a long
Yeah.
way away.
These are the ones that have been sabotaged in the UK a
Yeah,
lot. Yeah.
yeah. But they've got them fully installed in one of the cities I go to for markets, and they're bringing them in here. And you, I think I was listening to Alan. I don't know when the talk was, and he was talking about you might have to cover your mouth when you're talking,
Hmm.
because these lip reading things are on these cameras. They can read your lips.
Hmm.
So you could be just walking down the street, having a conversation with a friend, and all of a sudden the cop car turns up. You were saying this, you were saying that, and you go, no, I wasn't. Says, yes, you were. The camera read your lips.
Yeah.
And I see it when I watch a soccer match. The footballers are covering their lips when they're talking to each other because they've obviously got that technology, to read their lips to see what their tactics are or whatever they're doing. Yeah, and I also was something on. I think it might be one of the commentators talking about how all of these sports people now are all wearing these heart monitors and things like that while they're playing, so they can record their heart rate and all this kind of thing. So they're testing out all this tech.
Hmm.
Like Kennedy says, by the end of this, by 2026, everybody's going to be having a wearable. I won't be. I don't know where he gets that idea. But, how are they going to make it mandatory? It'd be like an electronic tag you can't take off.
Well, you know, in A Brief History of the Future, Jacques Attali talks about this, you know, how insurance is going to be, you know, basically the big industry. And he talked about wearables, and this is going to be it. It's just basically you will have to carry insurance, you'll have to carry a certain amount of insurance, and they will be monitoring you all the time. And they already trial ballooned this in the
Hmm.
auto industry with their insurance. This goes back probably a decade and a half, where if you will allow them to
Yeah,
attach
they're black
GPS
box.
tracker, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
get
Well,
it, you
that's the
get a
thing. It's a
discount.
black box you're going to wear, right? There's something else about that in one of Alan's recent talks. He was talking about the technology they had back in the 50s, and he was talking about how they can use certain wavelengths and microwaves and stuff to affect your heart rate up or down or give you
Yes,
cardiac arrest.
yes,
So,
yes.
so what's going to happen here? If we're talking about corruption, right? You've got this little wearable thing on, and then suddenly you get zapped by something coming through your television screen or your computer, and your heart rate bumps up. You got a message from the insurance company saying, "Oh, we're taking your insurance off you. You've got an
Yes.
elevated heart rate." Well, how
Yeah,
did that
well,
happen? You know?
I mean, this is another thing that Alan has pointed out about the smart meter and the smart technology is they're going to know the contents of your refrigerator and your
Mhm.
freezer and, you know, sunshine. If you've got 2 gallons of ice cream in there and you're packing an extra 10 pounds, you know,
Mhm.
that's your premium going up.
Yep, yep. Or they get a knock at the door. Where did you steal that?
Yeah, yeah,
Where did
exactly.
you get the extra tin of beans? I traded it for a tin of carrots because I don't like
Yeah,
carrots.
I mean, this is the thing. This is why I don't take too many ad breaks and give advice, is
Yeah,
because, yeah, you know.
yeah. But if you're gonna, yeah, I you just say to people, use whatever spare cash you've got. I mean, everybody goes around the supermarket, right, and they pick up stuff they don't want, really.
Yeah.
Whether they're getting the messages they want past, buy those, please, buy those cookies, buy those cookies.
Hmm.
Who knows? But I go to I'm at the register. I always kind of look at what people are buying, and
Hmm.
I'm thinking, and people are paying with the EBT cards, food stamps.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I look in the cart and I'm going, Jesus, you could have saved half that money just cooking that stuff yourself. And these people are obese and they wonder why. And they're buying what they call it, those diet meals anyway that come in a box that are half the size you'd ever want to eat. There's only like a half a portion in it, and they think they're slim in that way. No, they're malnourished.
Yeah. It's
Um,
it's very sad. You know, the attacks on us are just broad spectrum.
yeah, the Sam's Club one, and I'll do a quick mention to this. Amazon delivery drones have arrived in Tampa, so you can all get your Amazon deliveries within an 8 mile radius. I guess that's to fit in with the 15-minute cities, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's that one out of the way. Costco rival removes cash registers and self-checkout for huge in-store transformation. I wonder if Costco put this article out
Yeah.
for a start. Sam's Club is finally making good on its promise to ditch checkout lines. Now, remember, I mentioned this before, they're creating all the problems at the checkouts to make you
Hmm.
accept this,
Yeah.
no checkouts,
Yeah.
using controversial AI technology. Maybe they should ban its free speech if it's controversial. The retailer first announced this last year, but now it's pushing ahead the big way, replacing registers and self-checkouts with a system that lets shoppers scan items on their phones and walk straight out. Bosses promised no more unloading carts, waiting line, or juggling receipts. The tech, called Scan and Go, is already in more than 120 stores and is set to roll out to all 600 locations in the coming years. Now, again, they're going to come back later and say people aren't scanning everything. Well, everything's going to have a tag on it. Going back to what you were saying about the fridge,
Yep.
that tag is going to be in your fridge or on your shelf, and your smart meter is going to be able to read it.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the way they're going to go with that. So it's coming to all Sam's Clubs. So I guess my membership is going to be cancelled because I ain't going to do that. It's because I make a point to go to the person with the checkout. If
Hmm.
there's where
Hmm.
there's a person at the checkout,
Hmm.
and I still see people queuing up at self checkout, and the human checkout, as we called it before, and there's nobody there. I always walk up to them and say, "Those people over there are mad." I say, "Do
Yeah.
they really want to see you lose your job?" Because that's
Uh,
exactly what they're doing. Consumers scan items on the phone using Scan and Go app as they go around the store and add items. What if they don't have a phone? Well, I wonder what will happen here if people just say, well, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't have a phone. I don't want to be using my phone to do this. I don't want to have to do it. Like, it's the same argument about going to self-checkout. Why am I doing this work? Well, I'm not getting paid to do this.
Exactly. They've trained us. Bag your own groceries. We've been
Yeah,
trained for, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So anyway, so Sam's Club, founded in 1983 by Walmart to rival Costco. Well, this is going to come to Walmart as well, obviously, right? Office membership at $50 a year or 110 for the premium option. Both 10 less than Costco. Wow, $10 less. I think I'll go to Costco and pay the extra $10 to speak to a human being at the checkout. Yeah. So yeah, they'll get a lot of people won't cross over to this because for that reason they're not going to do the work themselves. And here it is. Here it's AI powered gate uses computer vision for accuracy and replaces manual receipts. So it's like an airport scanner you're walking through. It's not just checking your receipt; it's scanning through you. Right? You put this receipt in your front pocket, you're going to get your genitals scanned. That's,
All right. Well, I've got to run. I got to dash the door, and but we're going to be back next month with more joy.
yeah, filling spells and ad breaks.
Yeah, we'll more joy, and hopefully I'll be checking in with all my city people. I just got so busy last month, so they've now going to have had like 9 weeks to look at everything I put together for them. So or actually by the time we get around to you, it'll be more than that. So
Yeah. Don't
yeah,
hold your breath.
yeah, I know. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not.
You're probably on a list now as
I'm sure
a
I am.
terrorist.
I'm sure.
You better watch your don't get it in it, Calf.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. Anyway, just to finish off, the petition is now up to 2,822,665 signatures and counting.
Ooh,
But
wow.
so what?
Yeah, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I know. But it's good to see a little fight left in people, I'll say that.
Yeah, at least there's nearly 3 million of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, again, 5% of the population.
yeah.
I don't know who said it, but it was something like 5 to 7% of the population was all it would take for a rebellion.
That's it.
Well,
We're
we're getting
and
there.
yep, they're getting close.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you go. And we'll talk again next month.
All right, Neil, thank you so much. It is always a pleasure. You always make me
No
laugh
bother, no
at the
bother.
worst possible news.
We have to. We're living in a circus. We've got
That's
to have a
it.
bit of
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we are. I think speaking of circus, I may link to your favorite scene from Gladiator.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah. Are you not entertained?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening, and thanks again, Neil.
Okay, welcome.
Well, I've got something that the world didn't give me, and the world cannot take it away. And I've got something